Hello. Hi. So, since Deltarune Chapter 5 got a little update with the new, friend lore, I've looked into, what I thought happened to Spamton and Mike and Tenna with the new knowledge of, what friend is. And I've came up with what I think actually happened to Mike and who he is. So this is Deltarune voicemail theory. Alright, and then we got the thumbnail. Anyway, friend killed Mike, and Spamton was too late to save him. This video is pretty much just me talking about what I believe Image Friend caused to Spamton, Mike, and Tenna, and that resulted in them being how they are today. There is a lot of evidence. With proof Image Friend was after Spamton, part 1. So, with the new dialogue from Chapter 5, we now know that Spamton, who changed his appearance, and the Forgotten Man, who went into hiding, were both targeted by Friend. Additional evidence includes Spamton having cat scratches on his door, and having pipis, which are egg bombs, since Friend is referred to as not very smart but good at finding protein, such as eggs. These would provide a good defense against Friend. For what reason exactly? It's most likely since Friend was sent to stop Spamton from going against the prophecy with his deal with Tenna, but we can't really be sure.
I forgot to mention there is also a friend who shows up in Queen's basement who was probably waiting for Spamton before switching targets to us.
Part 2. How do we know that Mike was attacked by Friend? The Mikes in-game are not actually the real Mike, but are pretending to be Mike for Tenna, based off of what they could find out about Mike after his disappearance. One of the Mikes just happens to look exactly like Friend, meaning they most likely found out something related to Friend during their search for Mike. Most importantly, Friend can literally show up during the Batat minigame hosted by the Mikes, which is based off of Cat Pedders, where Friend comes from. So if Mike had access to Cat Pedders, it makes even more sense for Friend to hunt him. But the most interesting piece of evidence is Spamton's lyrics during Big Shot. I'm gonna play it, I have it right here.
Think it's coming from you to the bone. Hand play it till you're all alone. It pulls strings and make it ring until your heart turns red. Think it's coming from you to the bone. Hand play it till you're all alone. Pulls strings and make it strings until you want to be a bitch.
So, those were very hard to tell lyrics, but I have what I thought it says right here. I think it's coming for me. Answer the phone. I can't explain it till you're all alone. It pulls the strings and makes them ring until your heart gets ripped out. Some people think this was Spamton talking to Chris, but when did Chris ever call Spamton on their phone? It wouldn't make sense. So, who was Spamton trying to warn about Friend to keep him safe? It was probably one of his business partners, Tenna or Mike. This is also proven since Tenna has a pipis, which he was given by Spamton to protect himself with. But since they weren't answering the phone, it's pretty safe to say Spamton was talking to Mike here. And this is some sort of voicemail message that Mike never got to hear due to it being too late. Also, these lyrics play during the Batat motif, the Freedom motif's canon name, by the way. So it wouldn't make sense for it not to be related to Friend and Mike. The lyrics saying it pulls the strings could be related to Friend, keeping the prophecy in line. Since Mike is missing and Spamton is in hiding, Tenna is all alone in Chapter 3 and is worrying about being forgotten and being left behind without reason by people he cares about again, which is like a big part of Chapter 3. So because Tenna doesn't know what happened to Spamton or Mike and thinks they just left him as to scam him or just by not caring about him anymore, it would really influence the feelings he has about being abandoned by Chris and the Fun Gang. So if Spamton and Mike didn't leave Tenna, they would definitely be very powerful Darkners, and Tenna would be much happier, thus drastically changing the events of Chapter 3. And maybe Tenna wouldn't be cleaved by the night, which is stated in the prophecy, And if the Lightners found out about this part of the prophecy being proven wrong, their odds against the prophecy would seem much better. Because that's like a big point of the game, is them not knowing if they can even like go against the prophecy in the first place. Which is not a good thing for whoever is waiting for the My Deltarune guy who's like trying to make sure the prophecy comes true, and probably Gaster, and sees Chris talking to the Forgotten Man as an issue, so much as so they remove your achievement for finishing the chapter. I like to think of this part I like to think of this part of the song, like the lyrics, as Spamton remembering what happened to Mike in some sort of like flashback before locking in on the fight with the Fun Gang again, like some sort of like anime flashback. In conclusion, Friend is not Mike. Friend helps keep the prophecy in line. Friend is a cat who likes protein, and there are multiple friends. Friend killed Mike. Friend did not hand out the shadow crystals, they were formed in a whole different way. And Friend is a threat. Goodbye!
Like the video for more short theory videos like this.